a wonderful story that carries great wisdom. Follow it until the end to learn valuable lessons that will benefit you in your life. It is said that one of the governors was walking around the old market one day disguised as a merchant. While walking around, his eyes fell on an old shop that had nothing to tempt him to buy. The grocery store was almost empty. There was an old man sitting in it, slouching on an old, dilapidated chair. The governor's attention was drawn to only some of the paintings that had accumulated dust. The governor approached the old man and greeted him. The man returned the greeting with a better one. He was overcome with a strange calm and confidence. The governor asked the man, "I entered the market to buy. What do you have for sale?" The man answered calmly and confidently, "Welcome to us, the best and most valuable goods in the market." He said that without any hint of joking or mockery. The governor smiled and said, "Are you serious?" The man replied, "Yes, very serious. A few are priceless, but market goods have a price that cannot be exceeded." The governor was astonished when he heard that and saw this confidence. He was silent for a while and began to look around the shop. Then he said, "But I do not see anything for sale in your shop." The man said, "I sell wisdom. I have sold a lot of it, and those who bought it benefited from it. I only have 2 paintings left." The governor said, "Do you profit from this trade?" The man answered, a smile appearing on his face. "Yes, sir, I profit a lot. If it is expensive, it is very expensive." The governor went to one of the paintings and wiped the dust off it. It said, "Think before you act." The governor pondered the phrase for a long time, then turned to the man and said, "How much do you sell this painting for?" The man said calmly, "Only 10,000 dinars." The governor laughed for a long time until his eyes welled up. The sheikh remained silent as if he had not said anything and continued to look at the painting with pride. The governor said, 10,000 dinars. Are you serious?" The old man said, "There is no discussion about the price." The governor found nothing in the old man's insistence but laughter and wonder. He guessed to himself that this old man was out of his mind, so he continued to go along with him and began to bargain with him over the price. He suggested to him that he would pay 1,000 dinars for this painting, but the man refused. He increased it by 1,000, then a third and a fourth, until he reached the 9,000 dinar. The old man was still insisting on his word that he had said. The governor laughed and decided to leave, expecting that the old man would call if he left. But he noticed that the old man did not care about his money changer and returned to his dilapidated chair. So he sat on it calmly. While the governor was walking around the market, he thought about something he had intended to do. But he remembered that wisdom. Think before you act. So he retracted his decision and felt relieved and relieved. He began to think and realized that he had benefited from that wisdom and knew that there were many things that could ruin his life if he had done them without thinking. From here, he found himself running, searching for the old man's shop, and he was anxious, and when he stood up, he said, "I have decided to buy this painting at the price I have set." The old man did not smile and got up from his chair calmly and grabbed his rag and shook the rest of the dust off the painting, then handed it to the father and received the full amount. Before the governor left, the sheikh said to him, "I sold you this painting on a condition." The governor said, "What is the condition?" The sheikh answered him, saying that you write this wisdom on the door of your house, and on most of the places in the house, and even on the tools you need when necessary. The governor thought a little, then said, "Okay." He went to his palace and ordered this wisdom to be written in many places in the palace, even on some of his clothes, and many of his tools. Days passed and months followed, and one day the commander of the soldiers decided to kill the governor, to monopolize the governorship, and agreed with the governor's private barber and tempted him until he agreed to be on his side. In minutes, the governor would be slaughtered. When the barber went to the governor's palace, he was confused. How would he be killed? The governor said it was a difficult and dangerous mission. He might fail, and his head would fly off. When he reached the palace door, he saw written on the gate, "Think before you act." He became more confused. His body trembled, and fear entered him. But he gathered himself and entered. In the long corridor, he saw the same phrase repeated several times here and there. Think before you act. Think before you act. Even when he decided to lower his head and not look at the ground, he saw the same phrase on the carpet piercing his eyes. He became more disturbed, anxious, and afraid. He quickly reached out to his sisters to enter the large room. There he saw the same phrase facing him face to face. Think before you act. His body trembled again, and he felt the phrase ringing loudly in his ears with a strong echo. When the governor entered, he saw that the garment the governor was wearing had written on it, "Think before you act." He felt that he was the one meant by this phrase, and he felt that the governor might know what he had planned. When the servant came with the shaving box, the governor was terrified to read on the box the same phrase, "Think before you act." His hand trembled as he opened the box, and his forehead began to sweat. From the corner of his eye, he looked at the sitting governor and saw him smiling calmly, which increased his turmoil and anxiety. When he was about to put the soapsuds on, the governor noticed his hand trembling. He watched him very carefully. The barber wanted to avoid the governor's gaze, so he turned his gaze to the wall and saw the board standing in front of him. "Think before you act." He found himself collapsing in the governor's hands, crying and sobbing. He explained to the governor the details of the conspiracy and mentioned to him the effect of this wisdom that he saw everywhere, which made him admit what he was going to do. The governor stood up and ordered the arrest of the guard commander and his aides. As for the barber, the governor stood in front of that board, wiping the dust that had accumulated on it and looking at it with joy and delight. He longed to reward that old man and buy another rule from him. But when he went to the market, he found the shop closed, and people told him that the old man had died. The moral of the story is that wisdom opens our eyes and protects us from stumbling blocks that may threaten our lives. Thinking before making a decision is not just advice, but a shield that protects us from results that we may regret for the rest of our lives. Thinking before acting may save us from falling into traps set for us. It is not only strength that protects us, but wisdom that guides us to the safe path and protects us from the consequences of haste. Therefore, think before you act. O God, make us among those who listen to the truth and follow it, and grant us wisdom in all our decisions. O God, grant us the second thought and thinking before acting, and fill our hearts with calm and serenity, and protect us from temptations, and guide us to what is best for us in this world and the hereafter, and forgive us for our past sins. Amen, O Lord of the worlds. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the like button and the bell button to receive all that is new. Thank you.